Welcome to Divisive, the spoiler-filled, foul-mouthed comic book podcast where we talk about comic books. I'm Sly.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Darryl.
Yes, we're here, halfway through Edgelord August.
I'm finally back for some Edgelord shit.
Yeah, oh man, you missed such a great episode.
Yeah, you missed a treat. Now we're getting to the bad stuff.
Yeah.
What, you didn't like this? You didn't like this book we read?
What book did we read?
Old Man Logan. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
I had only had any experience with this, even this theme at all, from when we talked about it in another comic. I don't remember which. And we also
Civil War
in the
2, I think.
Yeah, and the movie Logan kind of, I think, draws some
Inspiration?
Yeah, it's
inspiration
just
from it.
like it.
very little. Logan is old. That's the only thing literally that's from the book.
Oh,
Did
and
you
he's
know-
going on a trip?
And he's
Yeah.
a man.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me. He's a man.
Did you,
And he's
so,
Logan.
fun fact, this was one of the first Marvel books I ever read. And
Wow.
I borrowed it from resident shitlord Evan in college.
Perfect.
So thank you, Evan.
I think you said you liked it too.
I did like it. I
Yeah.
don't anymore.
You know what? I kind of liked it. How about that?
I didn't have... Yeah. I really like Steve McNiven's art.
Yes.
That's the only thing nice I'll say about this.
Okay, maybe this might be like a Stockholm Syndrome thing, but I kind of just I haven't had enough Edgelord in my life lately. So coming back and the first comic I'm reading is this. I was like, this is pretty fun. You know, it's dumb, but so the first few issues I didn't like. I'm like, this is dumb. But then I was like, wait, it's dumb and fun, and then I just went with it.
Yeah.
So the premise of the story is Logan is an old man and he's in the future, and he given up being Wolverine, and superheroes are taking over the world, and
Yeah, that's
Not
Villains.
superheroes, super
the
villains.
Supervillains,
supervillains
yes,
taking
yeah.
over the world is like the most important part, I think, of the story. Because it's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a dystopian story.
exactly.
It's honestly like Mad Max at times. Like it's a really fucked up dystopia where there's just like gangs roving around the country, just killing random people and stealing their stuff.
Yeah, supervillains are landlords, so they're like, you have to pay rent or we murder you.
Yeah.
You know, I have to say, when I started it, I was like, maybe this book isn't as edgelordy as I remember it is. And then by like issue like 2 or 3, I was like, I'm an idiot. Never mind.
The story could have been okay if it stopped earlier than it did. That's
I do put this towards the top of Mark Millar's works.
I don't.
Honestly.
I think this is one of the lowest ones for me.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Worse than Nemesis?
Yeah, I think this one convinced me to Darryl's side a little bit. That pure bad in some cases is better than some ambition when ambition is garbage and nothing of the ambition is original or interesting at all.
So Nemesis is worse, but that makes it better. You're saying?
Yes, like this
Okay.
is just a try. This is like I always talk about ambition, and this is ambitious, but all the stuff that's in it that's trying to be serious and good has been done better so many times before. So all it
Yeah.
is just these tired old cliches with this goofy shit, and it's just a bad mix of
Yeah,
both.
I will say this is probably the most cliche thing I've ever read, because it's like, if you take every like Wild West movie that ever existed, where a guy doesn't want to be violent anymore and then has to be violent for revenge, it's like the archetype. They just took it and they're like, Wolverine is that guy.
And plus, when you're reading it, there's a lot of parts that are very, like, Millar, but you can tell he's kind of, like, toned down throughout it, because he would have done, like, worse thing, especially to women in this series, if it wasn't Marvel, if they weren't at the helm, saying,
Yeah.
like, hey, you probably shouldn't, like, you can't even cuss in this.
So one thing I was surprised about, I thought this book was older than it is. I thought it was like early 2000s. It's 2008,
Yep.
which is
It's
surprising to
Not
me.
only that, the first issue was released in August 2008. Very fitting.
So, just to, if anyone wants to read along, it's Wolverine issue 66 to 72 and giant size Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
That's a great phrase.
You want to see my giant-sized old man Logan? All right, let's get to this garbage.
Okay. All right, so it opens, and it's with Wolverine walking off.
Not Wolverine, Logan.
No, Wolverine's walking off into the night, and it's saying, like, what happened to Wolverine. He just disappeared one day. Did he get, like, really beat up, or was he just tired of fighting? And then it takes place 50 years later, and then it's Old Man Logan riding a horse back home, and he's, like, reminiscing about, railroad tracks and a train coming at him. And then he sees the
Reminiscing. Back when I
good
was
old
in the
days.
railroad tracks.
and he sees and like talks to his family, and they're talking about how they're going to be able to make rent for the banners, since this is Hulk's territory and Hulk's family's territory.
Yeah, Hulk's apparently a bad guy in this universe.
I found it so strange how many villains in this world are just like, fuck it, I just want to be evil, and like Bruce Banner, he's literally just like, I'm just gonna have a bunch of Hulk kids with my family.
It does try to reason that the gamma rays got to his head and made him crazy. So
And then he went crazy, but he got more control of the Hulk than he did what he was saying. That makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
It's like Grey Hulk.
I do have to issue a little bit of defense that future Crazy Hulk is like the Hulk is always evil in the future, just like always.
Yeah, but it's not like he's a redneck who fucks his cousin and shit like that.
That's true. That's true.
Oh yeah, he banged She-Hulk.
Like, the Hulk is evil. Like whenever Hulk is evil in the future, it's because like he blends basically the intellect of Bruce Banner with the power of the Hulk, and then he becomes unstoppable. Here, he's just a fucking dumb redneck who wants to be evil.
Yeah. So all the stuff about his family is revealed later in like this weird exposition dump from Bruce Banner. But yeah, basically he keeps having sex with She-Hulk, his cousin, because she's the only one who can keep the pace. And they just keep having like lots of inbred babies, and now they're like the gangsters of this. They're in California.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
California is
weird.
like Hulk territory, and then the Hulk gang like rides around and takes
in
rent money.
the
which,
Fantastic Four, the flying cars that they had, and instead of
Yeah.
Fantastic
What the
Four, it says like dead and forgotten. Pretty good.
I don't understand how. I know it's just silly dystopia, but like literally the whole country is fractured into supervillain enclaves, and they still use like dollars.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, sorry, dystopias don't pay rent.
I
You know,
I actually find it funny, like, because like there's so many stuff in the story that doesn't really factor into plot at all. Like, I'm just gonna mention now, there's fucking like mole men's. The mole man has like
The Moloids?
the moloids. They don't factor into the plot at all, really. But they bring up how they're going around the world, making the world sink down, and
Not only that,
it's like-
but like there's this weird exposition about how they're the Earth's defense mechanism
exactly.
to fight back against humans, and that goes nowhere. It's just dropped and
yeah, it's like Mark Millar is trying to have a world building, and I'm like, that's cute, but you suck at this. Stop.
Yeah, it's almost like Mark Millar would rather just drop edgy concepts and not follow up on them than tell a real story.
yeah.
especially because apparently these molites, the way it's explained is they showed up when the human population hit 8 billion. But that must be before the dystopia then? So with the moloids like eating people before the supervillains
And now,
took over,
now
or
they just
what?
now it's a habit for them that they can't stop doing it.
I don't know.
Okay, whatever. Get back to the plot. They're riding
Yeah.
the plastic car.
Anyway, so Logan's with his family and they're sitting outside when the banners come, and they're all like they're pretty ugly, big, bulky green people.
Yeah.
And they say like your rent's late, and he says I'll give you more next time. And so they decide to rough him up, and he has like a brief image in his head where he thinks about putting out his claws and then cutting one of them down.
Okay, this bothers me so much because part of the story's like drive and part of the thing that I like about it is he refuses to take out his claws. He refuses to take out his claws, and he's like, I'll never do that again. And that happens pretty much the whole story until the very end. Spoilers, obviously, that's the way all these stories work. But having this little like fantasy where he does it kind of like to me really hurts the like waiting for it
Exactly, yeah.
because they just show it right away
Yeah.
even though it didn't really happen.
Yeah, I also don't like
Yeah.
that this is like there was no image or filtering over the picture. It
Yeah,
looks just
right?
like he killed him and then he's back alive and it's like, what are you gonna do? And
I-
then Logan's like, beat me up.
I thought the pages were out of order.
I had to do a double take there.
It's supposed to disorient you, but like there's a way to do it right, and I don't think this did it right. It's just confusing.
agreed.
And-
I do agree with Ryan though, that the idea of for some reason a Wolverine who like
Oh, Wolverine.
literally says I'd rather die than take out my claws again is a cool concept.
Yeah, because
But-
a good comparison to it is it's kind of like a samurai that refuses to pull out his
Yeah.
blade.
Yeah.
And you're waiting the whole story to see him pull it out. So when he pulls out in the first issue in like a dream sequence, you're like, well...
A dream sequence that you can't tell is a dream
Dream
sequence.
sequences, like dream sequences are generally bullshit. Like almost, I can really think of this instance where something cool happens only in the dream, and it's a good story.
Yeah. Anyway, Logan gets beat up, and then old man Hawkeye is there to see him, and Hawkeye's blind for some reason, And
Yeah.
he's like, I want you to help me. I have a package that I want delivered to New Babylon on the East Coast, and I want you to do it because you're the Wolverine. He's like, don't call me that. My name's Logan.
They really overuse this fucking thing.
Yes.
Where, like, I like the idea of him being like, I'm not a superhero, I'm not Wolverine, I'm Logan now. But, like, you don't have to do it every 5 pages.
Yeah, actually, every issue does the same things every time. Where Logan says, just so you know, Hawkeye, I'm not going to take out my claws. Also, I'm not Wolverine. Every issue.
It's the next issue. It explains it in the text blurb beforehand, and then there's 2 instances where he says, I'm not Wolverine, I'm Logan. And it's like, you really only needed it once, if that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he hugs his family and leaves, and they get in the Spider-Mobile.
This is the only way he can pay the rent is to go do this quest.
Yep.
So they take the Spider-Mobile.
Which I was like, oh, okay.
This is weird telling.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
This is
I
weird
didn't-
telling the story because Spider-Mobile was in the Spider-Man story. Like Johnny Torch made it from the Fantastic Four made it for Spider-Man, but it was like a joking story where Spider-Man drove on walls with it and shit like that. It was like a goofy story, and the story is going for like this dark dystopia, but then it has like these goofy shit come in, goofy shit from stories that are meant to be jokes, and like what are you doing really?
One joke that I did think was funny was Hawkeye insists that he has to drive. Logan just has to, like, yell out directions to him.
Yeah, what?
Like, I think that's funny.
It's
Well,
funny,
stupid,
but it
though.
takes, like, it...
If you're like, I have to complete this delivery mission to save my family, and he's like, come with me, I can give you the money. Also, I'll let the blind guy drive. Wouldn't you just be like, no, I want to do this right. Let me just drive. I
Yeah,
can see.
that's sacrificing realism for the sake of a joke.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
exactly.
it's a kind of, like, gritty, dark story, too. People get, like, murdered in this, and it's like, Hawkeye's like, let me drive.
That's why at the beginning I was like, maybe this story's not as edgy as I think. Because so far we've had the Fantastic Car, we've had the Spider-Mobile, and now this blind guy is driving. Maybe this is a funny book.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not, though.
Well, I mean, it keeps trying to straddle a line. Anyway,
Well, that's the thing with a lot of edgelord stories you read, though. They're like, they want to be really dark and gritty, but at the same time, they keep doing these fucking one-liners that makes it feel like I can't take it seriously, and it's not really funny because it's like
Yeah.
way too fucked up.
Well, that's Mark Millar.
But can't decide if it's trying to be a black comedy or a dark dystopian gritty story.
Yeah,
That's
so it
Mark
just sucks at
Millar.
both.
He tries to straddle the line and ends up just teabagging the audience.
well, I wonder if it was something that was ended, like, the Marvel editors tried to have him add, because when I read Red Sun, it didn't have, like, kind of jokes like this. It was a pretty, like, serious book.
We can talk about editors at the end. Let's finish
Okay.
this long ass.
So
story.
they're driving along, then Hawkeye's like, watch this, and then he drives off a cliff because the Spider-Mobile's durable. And then they arrive in the city, and that's where we get the Moloid exposition about, like, they're afraid of light, they've been sinking cities and eating people.
Yeah.
And for
There's a lot
some
of cameos in the story, by the way.
for some reason, this is like one of the most nonsense side diversions, is that they decide to check out the buildings to see if there's survivors. And they go in there, and then they meet, like, there's Ghost Riders, which is
It's a biker
people
gang.
with Ghost Riders bikes, but not Ghost Rider? I don't know how this works.
I don't know either. They don't
I
explain
don't
It didn't matter because they were there for like one panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fight Logan. They're there to beat him up, and he's like, "No, I won't beat you up. Like, I love you guys." Well, he doesn't say I love you guys. It's like I refuse
I love
to
you,
fight.
man.
I refuse to fight at the cost of my own life. So then Hawkeye's like, "Well, I'm blind, but I can still show you
Kill
what
everyone.
I can do." Yeah, and
Well, he still has, like, super senses. Like, he could hear everything. And
yeah, he brings this up every time he fights. He's like, "Keep making noise."
Yeah, every fight.
Yep. So he
Even to the extent where later on they're like, it's 3 inches away from the voice of this person. It's like, that's not. I mean, I guess whatever. It's comic.
Yeah.
Yep. So he kills all the guys, and he's like, "I can't believe you would do this, Wolverine, that you wouldn't fight." And he's like, "My name's Logan." And then
Also, I told you this 6 times already in the comic that I won't fight.
They want me to not drill it home.
so they're driving around, like, the different destroyed cities. They go to a place called Hammerfall, which used to be Las Vegas. And it shows you it's like where Thor's hammer fell into the ground. And then they meet Ultron 8, who is married to Hawkeye's ex-wife, who is Spider-Man's daughter.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the fucking family relation bullshit.
One thing I do. Okay, this whole thing is really stupid, but the one thing that I want to point out about Hammerfall that is, I think, cool, is in this world, this has become like a mecca where people come to pray that superheroes will come back, and Hawkeye's like, you know, like in the old days when we would come back from the dead and just have a cool new costume and, like, save everybody. Like, they're waiting for that cavalry, and they all worship around Thor's hammer.
Yeah, that's a good
Like,
idea.
I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, again, this is cool conceptually, but if this wasn't trying to be funny and this was just like an actual like, man, wouldn't it be fucked up if all the superheroes died? And there
Wouldn't it be cool if we just made a Clint Eastwood movie with Wolverine, and then they did? It's called Logan, and that's why it's better.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, let's just stop and go watch Logan.
Yeah, I agree.
they go and meet Ultron and Hawkeye's ex-wife, and she's like, "Do you know our daughter took off to go and fight like the landlord of this place, which is Kingpin?"
Also, Hawkeye's ex-wife is Peter Parker's youngest daughter, so that is a pretty large age gap, because Hawkeye's older than Peter Parker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was wondering. I was like, this is a little skeevy,
This whole
isn't it?
shit for like fucking like the end of Harry Potter when it's like Albus Dumbledore, Severus Potter, and it's like all this fucking fanfiction bullshit that shouldn't be a fucking story.
Anyway,
Especially because they try to do family drama, and she's like, you left when she was a kid, and Ultron 8 has been there for me, and it's like, fuck, Ultron 8? What is this?
Yeah.
He's been the real father.
Yep, and he's dressed up in like normal clothes too, just with the Ultron head.
8, a robot in normal clothes, is like, whoa, don't get me involved in this between you and your ex. It's like, what is this? You tried to conquer the universe.
Anyway, they have to go save their daughter, which is she's clearly like Spider-Woman because she's dressed up in the Spider-Man outfit.
Yeah.
All right, and then we get to issue 68, and basically the plot is we're gonna have to go save, Spider-Man's daughter.
Yeah, and Logan's like, I didn't
Spider-Man's
sign up for
granddaughter.
this.
Hawkeye's daughter, yeah, and he's like, I don't want to do this. And they see another mole-sunk town. I don't know why. Again, they're doing the moloid thing. And basically, we get to this. Stadium
Not only
in
that,
Salt
but
Lake
there's
City.
a guy standing. He's clutching onto the roof of a cathedral, and he's saying like, "They swallowed the whole town. I climbed up here to be safe, but like everything else went under." And so I was thinking, A, how recent was this that there's a guy still alive, and B, like they just leave this guy there, and is this Mark Millar being like, is this him saying how real the world is? That it's like you can't save everyone.
Yeah, it is because Hawkeye says we can't save everyone.
Even this guy who we could just carry down to the bottom ground floor.
He says there's nothing we can do here. Because, like, as if the moloids will eat him as soon as he steps down, but the car is fine. Whatever. we get to the stadium where they said Hawkeye's daughter went off with 2 other superheroes, and they were calling themselves Punisher and Daredevil.
I want to point out
Basically-
real quick, people love this fucking story for some fucking reason, which is another reason why I hate it. And people were saying, "Oh, when Logan was announced, and it looked like it was gonna be based off Old Man Logan." Thank God it wasn't. They said, "How are you gonna have it? They need to have Daredevil Punisher in it." Yeah. Daredevil Punisher's role in the story is so fucking vital. Fuck you, fanboys.
So these 2 kids who are like, we're Daredevil and Punisher reborn, are in like a coliseum, and Kingpin, who's the ruler of this land, is like, basically it's a Roman Coliseum type thing.
Do we know who this Kingpin guy is supposed to be?
What?
Like, is this, because knowing the story, like, is this Kingpin somebody's grandkid?
Yeah,
or
this is what's
something?
confusing is people call themselves the same thing, but some of the same people are around. Like Bruce Banner is still around, Doctor Doom is still around, but Kingpin is a different Kingpin.
Yeah.
But they don't mention that.
Didn't mention that. He's
Yeah.
a different guy, unrelated.
Yeah.
And basically there's just like a coliseum where they have velociraptors. For some
Yeah.
reason.
They're imported from the Savage Land. This is
And
important.
they let them eat the Punisher and Daredevil while they're chained up.
So
and you have a
important to the
crowd
story. You can't have a movie
Yeah.
about that.
It's just like,
Why in a
it's so
Coliseum?
weird.
Why wouldn't you let Punisher and Daredevil fight the Raptors? This is a
Also-
minor aside.
Because they have to die.
Also-
That's the only thing.
I just don't. It's like the only way the story can make sense again if it's like Mad Max style where everyone has just lost their minds because you have like the people of this land are just like, yeah, fuck yeah, kill superheroes with raptors.
Well, in defense of the story, I'm sorry to do that because it doesn't deserve it, but they do explain that Magneto was the original leader and he was a fucking
Oh, yeah.
dictator, so they support Kingpin just because they don't want Magneto back.
Okay,
Right,
they keep
you're
making
right.
these jokes like, I don't know why Magneto wanted Las Vegas. Why did he want Las Vegas so bad?
I don't fucking know.
I mean, it's one of those things like I forget what the phrase is, but it's when you point out something that's like, isn't this like ridiculous? So that way you're like, I acknowledge I don't know why Magneto took Las Vegas.
But like, you made him take Magneto.
But you're
Millar.
acknowledging
What are
it,
you
so it
doing?
looks like it's okay that you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know why either.
So then Hawkeye's daughter is sitting in the cell. She's cocky looking because she knows she's gonna get rescued. They drive on the side of a building
Because the
into
Spider-Mobile
wall.
can do this.
Yeah.
Also, how
whatever.
she knew, she's like, that'd be my dad. Hawkeye was coincidentally driving across the country for an unrelated mission at this point.
Because
Also-
Mark Millar can't write. Go ahead.
Also, he's fucking blind and like has no help supposedly. So
And he's
Like,
using a sword and fighting dudes.
Yeah,
Whatever, he
they keep saying this is a world where superheroes can't win. The age of superheroes is over. But people still act like, oh, it's superheroes are having fun shit. Like a blind guy could come in and just kill all the guys, and the
Yeah,
guy
really.
knows what's going to happen.
it really is crazy how superheroes lost in this world. Whatever. Then again, this is the scene I was talking about before, where she's like 31 inches to the left of my voice, and he shoots the control panel or whatever.
Yeah.
Kingpin comes in, and literally Hawkeye's daughter just takes a gun and decapitates him by smacking the gun into his.
Oh, you're
neck.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shotgun. Also, I liked before Kingpin made a line about like how someone asked how do you beat Magneto, and he said he got too old, and then
Oh yeah.
when his daughter goes to kill him, she says, "No, your mistake was Kingpin. You got too old." And it's not like he looked old. Like that wasn't a good.
Also, she wasn't there when he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boy, this story's so shitty written, God.
it's not a good one-liner.
The writing in the story is
I
very
was
bad.
disappointed for how cool the art is of him getting decapitated.
Yeah.
too.
With every Mark Millar, Steve McNiven book we do, or Steve McNiven, whatever, I can't stress how perfect the art is for these kind of books.
Yeah.
Like, it works so well.
It's
really
so
good.
perfect that it transcends the book, and it's not deserving of such shitty writing.
Yeah,
Yes.
Actually, we could just take out all the text bubbles and just look at it as like a picture book and be like, this is interesting.
You actually wonder, like, maybe there's actually there's actually a ton of good dialogue. Maybe this actually is connecting in interesting ways. Like, your imagination will probably make it better than actually.
Oh, yeah,
Honestly,
100%.
I was serious.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I was serious.
A book of Logan going through a post-apocalyptic wasteland as a Clint Eastwood figure in silence sounds awesome.
Yeah, I really think this would be better without any writing.
Also, I have a theory that I think Mark Millar rigged Steve McNiven's balls to explode if he doesn't do art for him. Like, that's the only reason that he works with him, I think.
but actually, if his balls explode, it'll set off a chain reaction. And
One brief aside that I think enforces this point is when we were in college, we really wanted to watch The Outlaw Josie Wales, and we accidentally watched it an audio file that didn't, or a video file that didn't have dialogue in it, and we were super engaged for like a half hour.
yeah, it really was like 20 minutes before we were like, wait, there should be dialogue here.
Yeah.
Because you don't need it in a lot of these things. It's about the atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah, in Mad Max 2, Mad Max doesn't speak for like the first half an hour. Like he really literally doesn't say anything. Like that's the charm of these type of characters. Like they just go around running the wasteland.
And that would work with this, but they want to just one-liner the whole way through the
there
wasteland,
are a
so.
lot of points where there isn't dialogue and the art just carries it. Like,
There's only good parts.
And those are the best parts, yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, she decapitates Kingpin, and then she basically is like, "I'm gonna kill my dad too." So she's gonna kill Hawkeye.
It's because
and
she's
"What?"
like, you thought I was a hero, but I'm actually a villain.
Yeah,
I
I'm
want to
gonna
be
act-
the next Kingpin.
Yeah, she's like, apparently, if you kill Kingpin, you get to be Kingpin immediately. It's like that whole like alpha pack style thing, except literally the guards are all watching her decapitate Kingpin, and then they're like, "We'll follow you." So I guess whatever. And
This
then-
part bummed me out a lot because earlier, when they were driving to save her, Hawkeye was like, I know I haven't really been around, and like, you have to, like, we know it's super dumb and shitty that she's gonna go be a superhero, but damn, am I proud. And like, I feel like that captures Hawkeye's spirit pretty well, and then it's just like, nope, cynicism, fuck you.
I think that makes sense because, like you said, he wasn't around. Like he just expected his daughter to become a good person.
Yeah.
Like,
I
he
mean,
deserves it. Like,
the upside.
Well, Ultron 8 should have raised her better.
yeah.
Well, the upside is in a Millar book, if you're at least a villain, you have a low chance of getting rigged.
That's true.
That's true.
So Logan's like, "Ah, fuck, I have to help out now," because he just sat in the car and watched this whole thing happen.
Yeah, with his arms crossed.
Yeah, so he drives in, saves Hawkeye, drives away, and then he's like, fuck my daughter. And then they they fall into.
Okay, she's Logan says, "Moving, please, fuck my daughter for me, please."
No, I meant fuck, comma. My daughter is a villain. And then an earthquake happens. Everyone in this car, you have like a Mad Max style car chase with dinosaurs.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And then an earthquake happens. They all fall in. They wake up later, and Moloids have eaten everyone except Logan and Hawkeye because this is good writing.
Yeah.
And
They drive away,
they
basically.
They drive up a flat incline wall.
Yeah, because the car can do whatever a spider can.
Most of this issue's filler, by the way. My notes, I literally said they fight Molites and then escape and they get to a bar.
No, but you do see some cool things. They drive through dinosaurs, and then they.
But like none of this is important to the plot. Like this is like
you see Loki's dead body just
Crushed
lying around
by
as
a building.
giant. And you see Venom goo on the ground. I don't know.
The symbiote.
the Venom
The
symbiote that is
symbiote
detached.
is like chasing them in the background this whole story, and then he like shows up and is defeated.
Wait, but what other frames? Like, this is the first frame I saw him in because he's like
Yeah.
front and center. But was he there before chasing them?
Yeah, he was. He was like, he
Yeah.
shows up throughout constantly for me.
Oh, I never
okay.
noticed.
I expected him to be like a big bad because of that, but I mean, he's literally a big bad.
I
I'm
guess the
getting ahead
story
of
was too
myself.
subtle for Darryl and Phil.
I guess so. And then you see Mount Rushmore, and there's Red Skull's face on there now.
Yep.
So wait,
and
what
then-
about when they escape the Moloids and they go to that bar?
So they go to a bar, and they're talking about their feelings, and he's like, "Oh, my daughter is, I screwed it up," and Logan's like, "My life went to hell too, but I really, now that I have my kid and my kids and my wife, they're the only thing I care about, and I don't want to die." And he starts crying, and then some guys are like, "Queers," and then
It's basically literally that
basically,
guy.
and then Logan's like, "I'll fucking kill you," and then he leaves the bar.
Like,
and then,
this scene is so awkward because he's like, I never want to harm another living creature, and then someone's like, Hey Logan, you gay? And he's like, I'll murder you.
And that's what prompts Logan to say why he'll never hurt somebody. The fact that he'll never hurt somebody. This is
Yeah.
stupid.
and then he's like, "Next issue, I'm gonna tell you."
Yeah,
my
I love that
backstory."
specifically. Like, sit down, I'll tell you. At the bottom, it's like next issue, secret revealed.
Yeah, and that's that.
So now we get Logan's backstory, why he won't pop his claws anymore. So it flashes back to he's with Jubilee in the like X Mansion, and all the supervillains in the world just burst through the wall. And I think it's Doc Ock is like, have you realized that every superhero has like 30 villains? So we're all just teamed up now. We're gonna murder everybody. We've already murdered like all the superheroes.
This is actually like this. I said to Ryan because like this is actually like the beta test for this premise for Wanted because that's the same exact premise for Wanted.
Yeah.
All the heroes teaming together and kill it.
Yeah,
Wanted
you guys-
did it better, by the way. The story sucks. Go ahead.
Wanted's also so bad. But so the thing that I found really interesting is there are a couple X-Men villains, like Mr. Sinister's there, and then there's like it's like Claw and Mr. Hyde, like these really like B-list villains.
I don't want to say this, but like, there's a reason why this works better in Wanted than fucking Marvel. Because there's a reason why most of these villains work together. They have stories where these villains try to work together, they don't. One big simple fucking reason is Red Skull's a Nazi, and one of the villains that was a mastermind. So this was Magneto. Magneto
Yeah.
and Red Skull.
Yeah, like
fucking
why
work-
would he listen to Red Skull?
Like they actually had a story where Magneto faked that he was going to work with Red Skull, and he actually locks him in a bunker underground and says, "Now you know how the fucking concentration camp victims felt. Fuck you." And he leaves him on the ground with no food and water, and leaves him to starve to death. Because that's what fucking happens when people work with Red Skull. He's a fucking Nazi. There's actually a fucking story where the Joker and Red Skull team up, and Joker finds out Red Skull's a Nazi. And Joker says, "You know what? I may be a psychotic clown, but I'm America's fucking psychotic clown. Fuck you."
In 2017 America, I've seen a lot of people unexpectedly defend Nazis, so maybe this is realistic. I don't know.
But would you work with the Nazis to enslave America? Maybe.
You would
Maybe.
work with them to keep fucking statues up, but that's besides
And the point is, and there's always very first story of Sinister Six was that the Sinister Six can't work together because they're fucking villains. They're inherently bad people,
And
just 'cause
they're all
just-
like, especially in comics, every villain has some kind of like fucking psychosis. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
They're not. They're very asocial. They're like. They're all like weird hermits who are like, I have a crazy idea to do this thing.
Yeah,
Or the
exactly.
ones,
Not
or the
all.
ones that are really charismatic, they all want to rule the world. They probably don't want to share it with each other.
Yeah, and they're very the Magnetos are ideologically motivated. All the
like
Magneto-
Doctor Doom owns a country and runs a whole country. Why would he now run just Nebraska?
And like even if he and they show that country, they show Doctor Doom is a net benefit to that country. Like he runs it well, even though he's a dictator. Like
Yeah.
people have a bit higher standard of living. Like why would he let the fucking dystopia plan like this be his plan?
So actually, as far as all these villains teaming up in this specific scene goes, it's actually not even real.
Yeah.
So
What?
Wolverine is like, first they kill Jubilee, and Wolverine is like, "Oh, kids, get back!" Because he's with, he's in the X Mansion with all the kids and everything, and he's like, "Don't look back!" And he super like brutally murders all of them.
And he keeps calling for help for the other X-Men. He's like, "Where's Cyclops? Where's Storm?" And he's fighting like 1,000 villains just pouring in.
Yeah, and then he even Bullseye, the Daredevil villain, he fights with him for 90 minutes, and they just keep taking chunks out of each other. But then it's revealed that it was actually an illusion created by Mysterio.
It was actually you see this. The reveal happens before that, where Hawkeye, or Bullseye, as he's dying, says like, "Why would you do this, Logan? We were friends." And he's like, "What?" And then Mysterio's like,
Okay,
Scarlet Witch the whole time.
I have a question.
It was Mysterio the whole time.
So it was Mysterio the whole time making an
No, I'm
illusion.
saying Scarlet Witch was the villain pretending to be Bullseye. Like, she
Okay.
was the one,
No.
the illusion.
It wasn't.
Whatever.
Scarlet Witch wasn't Bullseye.
Wasn't it?
It was him holding.
Oh, it was Jubilee.
Jubilee.
How did he
That's right.
fight with Jubilee for 90 minutes but kill
That's
all the
my
other
question.
X-Men?
This whole premise is dumb. Because this assumes the X-Men have never fought Wolverine while he was in feral rage. They say, your friends will hold back while you're in feral rage. Literally, that's one of the primary things the X-Men did in the early days, was fight him when he has a feral rage.
Isn't it also Mark Millar's Wolverine run? Doesn't that happen? Isn't that what Enemy of the State is?
Yeah, like, that's what fucking happens. Like, almost all these X-Men can kick Wolverine's ass. Like, it's a fact. I'm sorry, Wolverine fans. Fucking Scarlet Witch can kick Wolverine's ass. Polaris, who's Magneto's daughter, who has magnetic powers, can kick Wolverine's ass without even trying. Cyclops is a ranged fucking fighter, can kick Wolverine's ass without trying.
But
And
maybe
even-
maybe they were all just hanging out together and they were all ambushed and got cut down.
No,
really
they
quickly.
they all have protocols. They have protocols for Wolverine going feral crazy because it fucking happens in the past. And they know it's gonna happen. Like, it's fucking. They know their premise is cool. Wolverine kills his friends, but they literally plan for Wolverine going feral rage because that's a legitimate fear. Wolverine goes feral
It
rage. 'cause he
happens
fucking-
in Millar's Wolverine run.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like it's so fucking dumb.
It's one of those things that I thought it was a cool reveal because I'm like, Wolverine kills his friends, but
It's a good twist.
he could kill like two, but
You
like,
killed
the
two
fact
of them before. Like that'd be a cool twist if he helped kill even like Jubilee and
Yeah.
like that'd be a cool twist. But he kills everyone.
he actually kills all of the X-Men.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
two-page
everyone.
last page of all
Fucking
the X-Men
Storm
deaths.
controls the fucking weather. Fucking Cyclops who can destroy mountains.
Also, another weird thing I was thinking about when Wolverine was fighting them, he's like jabbing his claws through their like face and skull and chest. Is Wolverine doesn't usually kill dudes?
He
right?
doesn't. Like even like when he's
Like why when they break through the wall, he's like, well, I guess I have to permanently
Well, it's
kill
'cause
Doc Ock.
They killed Jubilee immediately.
True.
And they do say, like, we've killed all other superheroes. Now you guys are here, or whatever.
But just it seems funny after like 500 issues of X-Men that Wolverine's like, now
Yeah.
I'll kill these guys.
this premise was done way better in the movie, by the way, and it works better because actually a person realistically can kill the X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Definitely. So yeah, it's Mysterio and Wolverine killed everybody, and he tells that story. And I honestly, even though there's super big problems with the scene, I think that is an interesting way to have Wolverine like hang up his sword as the samurai.
Yeah.
like I think that
Interesting premise.
justifies that.
I
It's
agree.
a premise but shitty execution. Like
Yeah,
most
yeah.
Marvel stuff.
Execution, haha.
Early on, I was like, there's no way in all these scenes he wouldn't pull out his claws. Like, there's so much danger to him and other people's lives around him.
Yeah.
He would pull out his claws. But then after seeing this, I'm like, maybe I wouldn't if I killed all my friends.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like it's a remorseful. Like he's remorseful. In,
Like to the point where he's like, I'd rather just die, than fight.
So then one of the things that bothers me so much is every place they travel has some like hey, get it? It's a Marvel reference name.
It's like fucking everyone's the same thing. Like they have to squeeze so much Marvel
Yeah.
fucking references in every fucking page. Like
So
now
they're-
the Ant-Man.
Yeah, so they drive past Pym Falls where you see giant Ant-Man dead. And there's a little kid who has Ant-Man's helmet and takes their toll of 80 cents, otherwise he's going to make 8 million ants eat them.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And even this, it's like, it's cute and fun, and Hawkeye, like, knows him and gives him 80 cents. And then there's, like, 1 million skeletons under the bridge.
Yeah, like this
Oh.
kid actually just kills people.
We skipped a part that I think is kind of important because I like it shows the despair that Logan went to. Is after he killed the X-Men, he wandered around. He didn't know whether it was for days or weeks, and he finally decided they wanted to end it all. So he laid
Oh,
down
yeah,
on the
yeah.
railroad tracks. He put his head on the rail and let a train hit, which is my favorite splash page in the whole series. Is the train just like ramming into his face? And it's real brutal. But
Yeah.
it shows that like he couldn't even die from that, but he just wanted to like at least feel the pain.
And he
from it.
suffered.
Yeah, I was just
like,
thinking, it's like, man, to be immortal and you kill all your friends, it must really suck.
This idea is explored a lot more interestingly in a Hulk story called Banner by Brian Azzarello, where
Yeah,
it's basically Bruce Banner is trying to kill himself, but the Hulk won't let him. And it's because he keeps, like, killing people and attacking his friends and everything. And, like, it's an awesome concept, but I don't know. It's still Mark
I feel
Millar.
like at least for the series, like this was the peak like emotional resonance that it had.
Yeah, this
with
was my
it.
favorite. This is my favorite issue for sure. And even
Yep.
the idea that like in the pain he experienced and getting run over and regenerating over time, a new Logan was forged out of that fire. You know, like
Yeah,
one
it's
that's,
like he says that Wolverine died when he laid his heads on the tracks
Yeah.
and Logan was born from it, which is a cool like transition.
Yeah. a transition into the Ant-Man kid that murders people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the most little kid playing with his action figures thing I've ever seen in a comic book
Yeah.
is Venom makes himself known now, possesses a giant T-Rex, and starts charging after them.
Yeah. But they get saved by Emma Frost.
Yeah, so Emma Frost is like someone who used to be bad, is kind of good a lot, and she still looks very young. And she sends Black
yep.
Bolt from the Inhumans, who is her new husband, I guess.
Wait,
I guess
how
so.
did Black Bolt not stop the villains from taking over?
Because they say like they had Dormammu, which is also stupid. Fucking like the OP like god level characters like Dormammu. Like why would Dormammu ever team up with fucking Doctor Doom?
Skull?
Like why would he? Like so fucking stupid. But whatever. They teamed up with like the fucking god level like Doctor Strange villains, and somehow like what? And then like Black Bolt's like we can't win, so they teamed the Black Bolt. Emma Frost made a treaty to save the Inhumans and mutants from the wrath of the superheroes.
Yeah, they just
And
betrayed their friends.
I actually think choosing Emma Frost was interesting for this because she's one of the people that like would turn like with the villains to like make their coalition for survival and stuff. And one thing that I do like about this too is she still looks really, really young, and she is using her psychic powers to just make her hideout look really nice and her look really young. And I think that I just am an Emma Frost fan, and I think that's an accurate portrayal.
It's cool because it also shows the power of her ability that she can simultaneously be in everyone's minds and changing their perception.
Yeah.
See,
Like,
I
that's
was
pretty
thinking
good.
when I read that, it's obviously because Mark Millar wanted more hot girls. Because the only unhot girl
Well,
we've
yeah.
seen has been a Banner.
Yeah, I think that's also fair. But basically, she like saves them and says like no mutants have been born in 40 years, blah blah blah, all that stuff. They fix up the Spider-Mobile.
Yeah, another connection to Logan.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the few things they took from it, that the idea that mutants are no longer the next step in
But that's
humanity.
also like always the thing. That's been a thing.
I know, but I
in
think this is, like,
Marvel's continuity for fucking 10 years.
Yeah, but I think this is like where they got it from in 2000.
Yeah.
From this actual particular story.
I thought
And
that's
then-
pretty cool that
yeah.
idea, because especially because all X-Men early on is like we are the Magneto's always like we are the next
For the
you know,
future.
Yeah.
we're Homo superior or whatever.
For homos.
Wolverine will kill you if you dare call him that.
Go.
Anyway, I just want to point out, we get an awesome one-page panel of Doctor Doom watching them. He doesn't do anything. He just watches
Doesn't do
them.
anything.
Which,
And then they get to New Babylon, and the delivery. This is actually what I think is pretty cool, because this whole time Wolverine's been like, "Are they drugs? Are you just like a drug dealer?" And Hawkeye's like, "Don't ask me this. It just reminds me of how far I've fallen." But then they get to New Babylon, and the delivery is actually 99 doses of the super soldier serum that some guy that looks like fucking Laurel,
Hitler.
looks like Hitler, but he also looks like which one's the fat one in Laurel and Hardy? Laurel?
I don't know.
I think Laurel.
Whatever. That's exactly who he looks like. And Hawkeye's like, I'll do this under one condition. I want to be one of the super soldiers. Like, I want to be a.
Because the idea is there's 99 people in a rebel alliance that are going to take the super soldier serum, become superheroes, and try to take back the world from the villains.
Yeah.
So this is apparently like a rebel guerrilla force that he's supplying. So you're like, oh, he's not selling. Well, he's selling drugs, but he's selling like good drugs.
Yeah.
Good
And then it's revealed that it's a setup.
oh no,
and
Hitler
this-
betrayed him!
Yeah. Red Skull, who's the president, he has his ear in every room in the city. So they shoot Logan a bunch of times, and then they shoot Hawkeye in the head, and they're like, "Fuck you, villains always win." Because
great one-liners during this the whole time too. Throughout we don't even mention all of them because there's so many. But it's just like, you want to see me beg, do your worst, and he's like, okay, and shoots him in the head, and it's like
Yeah.
that's just so cliche.
Yeah. Alright, so Hawkeye's dead, Logan's captured. They take him to the fucking White House.
They think he's dead.
Yeah. But
Also, we get a flashback scene of when Red Skull killed Captain America. I want to say I love how Red Skull is drawn. Because as like a kid, I always just like skeleton dudes, and this dude
It's
was
interesting
like,
because like there's some elements of like the continuity of time, and here this is Bucky as Captain America, not Steve Rogers as Captain America, because Steve Rogers was dead at this time, so he's killing Bucky as Captain America.
Oh.
Fun fact.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
He's killing this other guy, not this other guy. But so yeah, after he kills Captain America, he takes his mask and he wears it forever.
yeah,
they-
that was my other my two favorite things are like the Wolverine reveal about why he won't pop his claws. And then the other one is I like the idea of like Red Skull being so obsessed with Captain America, he wears his suit all the time because he's still like, and he tries to like justify it. It's like, Victor is where the ancients were the skin of their enemies and stuff. But it's like, no, it's kind of like he's sad without him, because you get a lot of that stuff of like Batman needs the Joker, but it's like don't the supervillains also need the heroes that keep fighting them too?
Yeah, there's a few elements of that in here, especially like that's why Banner, this supervillain Hulk, says that about Wolverine. Like, I need my arch nemesis Wolverine. Fucking garbage.
Wolverine's first appearance was as a Hulk villain.
I know. Mark Millar's like, I'm trying to be clever, having it reversed. But no, you're not. Fuck you, Mark Millar.
Sly, he doesn't listen to this podcast.
And I hope you do. I hope you read this, and if you are, fuck you.
It's also interesting that Red Skull in the White House has like a display case of, it's not, he's wearing Captain America's mask, but he has a trophy from each of the villains.
Yeah, he has a map of the he has a big map of the electoral map on the wall to show all his enemies.
He has like Iron Man suit and Doctor Strange cape. How did Doctor Strange? I guess if Dormammu and stuff, whatever.
Yeah, obviously Dormammu teams up with the fucking Red Skull Nazi. Whatever. But
I know him from another dimension, but Dr. Octopus seems pretty cool.
Doc Ock, help!
I'm pretty sure that, much like Red Skull and Captain America, Sly's nemesis is Mark Millar, and without him, Sly would waste away.
Yeah.
I was actually really happy when we stopped doing it for a while.
No,
Whatever.
You lie. As soon as Mark Millar goes away, you'll be wearing a suit made of torn pages of Nemesis.
Hey, I was positive for all the Edgelords we've read since then. So, like, it's just Mark Millar. Like, shitty Edgelord is where my line gets fucking drawn and I get triggered. So yeah, they bring in dead Hawkeye and apparently dead Logan, and Logan reses and starts killing everyone, and then he decapitates Red Skull with Captain America's shield.
I think that's actually kind of awesome.
I thought it was weird though, because he's like, as he's fighting, like Red Skull keeps taunting him, and he's like, "Oh, what did we do to you? You can't even take out your claws anymore." But like, he's killing people with like other things.
Yeah.
And like, then you might as well take out your claws. That like at that point, because they want to save him taking out his claws for the last issue. But, like, when he starts killing people, that's actually the big transition.
Violence against Nazis is always justified.
Yeah. It's also just his symbolism about when he takes out his claws, what that means to him.
But just like the fucking dream, like, you're losing the impact of it.
Yeah, you do, because it should have been for the last issue.
I think this is fair, killing guys with, like, other things. Because the claws are the symbology of Wolverine coming back.
I was surprised this was not the last issue. I'm like, why is this not the last issue? Why are you adding this extra fucking issue just to have Wolverine's family fucking die? Spoilers. But whatever. Like, if it ended here, this would have been okay. The last issue will piss me off the most. But
I would have liked to see him, after dealing with everything, come back and do this. Like, so you get that, like, pop the claws for his family, but then also,
pop the boner for his family. I'll save that joke the entire time. I'm trying to resist it, but I can't. Pop the boner. That's
yeah, they specifically say pop your claws constantly, referring to his, which is a kind of weird, I don't know, phrasing.
Yeah. And the way Wolverine escapes the White House from all Red Skull's men is he takes Iron Man's old armor and flies out and flies all the way back to California. But it's still too late. Hulk's
He beats up two people. Wait, are Silas and this other dude that find him, are they Marvel characters?
I have no idea who these guys are.
Because it seems like you'd be referencing, why would you spend 2 pages being like, Silas, look over here, and then Wolverine fights them to get away.
And they're like, this looks like real chromium. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, like, what? Why? Why do this?
I don't think they're real characters. But anyway, they're like, oh, your family's dead. Sorry. Violence is never the answer. Never punch Nazis, Logan. And Logan's like, fuck you.
And then Logan's like, but I had 2 more weeks. And like, I guess I got bored.
Yeah, they got bored is the reason to like kill his family, which I was disappointed that Millar couldn't even stoop to not murdering his whole family.
Yeah, that's when I was like, fuck this book.
I mean, that's what I was thinking too, is like, I know, again, realism does not matter in this fucked up, stupid world, but like, if you have a system where landlords just constantly murder people from boredom, like, it's not people aren't going to keep paying rent. It's not sustainable.
Also, you own the whole like part of society. Why do you need money?
That's the whole thing doesn't, like, people wouldn't just live under the Hulks.
Also, how do they get money?
Like in the movie, they made it fucking make sense because they need money because it's fucking still everything fell apart from humans, but the world still continues as it is for humanity, and that's even more creepy.
Right,
the fact that
like the movie was actually still the United States just fucked up.
Yeah,
but this is now just a series of.
This is Mark Millar trying to world build, and he sucks at it.
Yeah, it's an unsustainable, chaotic world, which is what Mark Millar's universe would be.
No, but what I don't get is if you have a crazy, unsustainable world, that's when you get like Mad Max, right? That is
exactly
complete fantasy fuckfest. But this, it's weird because you have these little pockets of people who are like, we're farmers working for money for rent, and at the same time you have T-Rexes just running around eating people. It's like those two things actually can't coexist.
They
Like,
can't.
Because most dystopias are more like, you do this work and I'll give you food. Like,
Yeah.
an exchange of money doesn't make sense.
or like you still have these like cities that look like kind of like modern American cities at the same time as like the Hulk gang rides around and just murders people for fun. Like,
Like, when they get to New Babylon, they still have, like, billboards and
Yeah.
neon lights.
Yep.
Yeah.
it really feels like it doesn't mesh at all.
Because it's the two aspects of Mark Millar. The aspect that's Mark Millar being a shitty writer, and the aspect of Mark Millar trying to pitch something that will be good for a movie, which is like 5% of the whole book. But yeah, final issue, Giant Size Logan. If it ended with the fucking Red Skull fight, I would have thought it was okay. Here's where it gets fucking pure garbage.
This is just like pure like violent fan service.
Yeah.
It's so fucking edgy because all these fucking Hulk, like, redneck guys are in this bar and they're like, how come we couldn't have eaten the kids?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And then they're like, well, we had to send a message. And then one of them's holding one of the kids' arms and eating it like a chicken leg.
It's not the kid's arms; it's someone else's arm.
Oh,
because
it's just somebody
they're just
else's arm?
eating parts of people because they're cannibals.
Wait,
And then,
also,
like, and
guys,
then he has just real quick before I
Yeah.
forget this and purge it from my memory forever. One of them's holding his daughter's Raggedy Ann doll, and he's like, "It still smells like baby milk." It's like, get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
Oh, that was 100% Mark Millar fantasy.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand. They're like, we have to send a message to Wolverine. Why? Like, why? Like,
It's
Why?
because Hulk wants him to fight him.
no, but okay. So maybe you can justify it that way. But all the other Hulks are like, he can kill them, and they must know this, right? And they're like, let's just eat his kids and see what happens.
Well, they're
Like, he's not-
they're
like,
inbred idiot rednecks. There you go.
But it's one of those stupid things that happens in these kind of stories all the time, where somebody who used to be a badass is completely obedient, and you have to send the message to keep them obedient, and it always is the thing that motivates them to be a badass again.
But the thing is, in a lot of those movies and stuff like that, it's just some random raiders attacking what looks like a farmer, and it turns out he was
Yeah,
actually
it's rarely
a
the
killer.
people that cause like the damage to them. Like
Yeah, and this in this situation, they know this is fucking Wolverine that they're killing his kids. Like, it's not like, oh, let's just fuck up this random farmer. So you're like, let's eat Wolverine's kids and then just go hang out at the bar.
this guy killed all the X-Men in this fucking continuity, and you're gonna fuck with him.
and they're so dumb that they're just like hanging out, like nothing bad could happen out of this. Like,
Yeah, so
and he kills them very easily.
yeah, it's not even like a fucking. It's not even a real interesting revenge story like the Punisher movie or something like that, where he's planning out smart ways for them to kill each other or something like that. No, he's just killing them all.
Yeah,
Like, when they walk in-
he's just running in there and murdering guys.
Yeah, so like it's just not even fucking well written, and all it does is just show like Hulk's being pieces of shit, like they're in brothels, fucking women.
Yeah, big gangbang. All the women passed out from them banging him.
Yeah, and then Wolverine kills him afterwards, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, Logan's coming to kill us!" Like at the Banner fucking redneck residence, and Banner's like, "No, this is good because I want to have this final fight with this guy who was my first enemy." Even though to me, like Wolverine was just another guy he fought because he was. Because he was like,
It's okay.
maybe
so fucking
he's just,
dumb.
Maybe he's just so bored. But it's like, if you're so bored and you want to fight someone, you can go try to just fight him.
Fight your
Like,
kids.
He killed his own. He basically rigged it so that his whole family would be wiped out.
He rigged his room to explode in the metaphorical sense. But
Also, there's some rigging of people to explode too. Wolverine sends some Hulks in rigged to explode.
yeah,
Whatever.
so clever, very clever revenge tactic. But yeah, so then Logan kills everyone really trying. Like there's not even tension in this fucking story. It's so fucking poorly written.
That's what was weird. Is they're all like Hulk, so you'd think that they'd have some like strength over him. But
No, they
no, the one person that does is Old Man Hulk. Old human man Hulk.
Can adamantium just go through Hulk's skin like that?
Here's the thing:
Yeah.
Hulk can Wolverine can't tear through the Hulk. But here's the thing: one of the reasons why Wolverine, like, even have it happen here, first after he kills all the Hulks, he goes to fight Banner, and Banner's an old man, and he cuts up Banner, rips him up. Then he turns into Hulk, and he's completely healed. Because you know what? Hulk has a fucking healing factor. That's why Hulk can't die either. 'Cause he has a fucking, and that'll be actually a well-written story. Where Hulk is another tormented soul stuck in this fucking hellscape. But they made him to a fucking redneck that
Banged his cousin.
yeah, like they could have something interesting of that. Like Hulk is another tormented soul, can't die either, because that's what Banner is. But no, Banner's just instead he's a complete other fucking different character, unrelated to the Banner of the actual fucking universe. Yeah. And we always when we talked about like Civil War and like Wanted, we gave Mark Millar credit saying when he writes he only shits on characters when he writes his own characters. But this book disproves that. He shits on all characters all the time, like fucking all this fucking Edgelord shit. So he fucking lost all credit for me of this fucking garbage story. So yeah, Banner's a completely different character. Mark Millar's a shitty writer. Editors are the only thing that kept him in place. If you take away any editor, he writes like a fucking hacklord. And yeah, so then.
Sly, I just want counterpoint. There's no cuckolding in this story.
That's true.
True.
I was waiting for it.
Unless, does Ultron 8 count?
And unless, I guess.
No, because Hawkeye left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
true. Unless he left because she was cheating on him with Ultron 8.
We can read between the lines here.
Yeah, we know what Mark Millar's going for there.
Yeah. Let's just assume that the worst, because that's what it is. And so, like I said, he fights Banner, and Banner's like, I'm crazy, I'm a redneck now, even though I'm a fucking scientist. And then he shows it to Hulk, and then the Hulk literally eats Bruce Banner. The Hulk literally eats.
The Hulk eats Wolverine, not Bruce Banner.
Also, this Hulk is crazy. This Hulk is like King Kong. Like
Yeah, he's Wolverine alive, and he's also fucking giant. And then, like I said, it's fucking dumb because he's Wolverine, and Wolverine rips out of his stomach later on, trying to be clever when it's not, because Hulk again has a healing factor. Why would he not heal from this?
Also, why would he eat Wolverine?
Yeah, why would he eat Wolverine? But
And even his like last remaining redneck like cousin or whatever is like, wait, why'd you eat him? And he's like, we eat our enemies all the time. And he's like, yeah, but Wolverine is a healing factor, you idiot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like how do you not know? Like, how do you if you've been orchestrating this whole
The
revenge thing,
gamma
so-
rays. They made him crazy.
he's crazy. That explains everything. Good writing. Okay, so then he has one final baby, Hulk baby, and I guess to show like this is an inspiring, emotional story. Hulk takes the baby to be his own son. Like, this is inspiring. Fuck you, Mark Millar, and all it is. It's a garbage story. And he goes to raise Hulk Jr. as his own, and that's the end of the story.
Yep, and Wolverine rides off into the sunset being like, I got a long road ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rides off into the sunset on a horse with fucking baby Hulk in his backpack, and it looks just like Yoda.
Yeah. It is like a fucking like Yoda. So final thoughts.
Baby Hulk's pretty cute. That's my final thought.
He is pretty cute. I'll give him that.
Some cool things, mostly not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say there were like 2 to 3 cool ideas in here, and then everything else was unfocused and all over the place, and like it kept trying to be so many different things that it was just trite in the end.
I rank it above Millar's indie stuff, but definitely far below his other Marvel and DC work.
I said this off mic, but I should say on the camera, on mic, whatever. The reason why this fucking made me so mad is the things that always make me so mad is just things I take for granted, because so many fucking people say this is a fucking good story. Like, there's so many Wolverine runs I fucking love, like Lara Hammer's run, Quick Claremont's run,
Barry Windsor Smith's run is amazing.
Barry Windsor Smith's run, Frank Terry's run, which was like a little bit before this, and so underrated. No one ever mentions that run. Frank Terry's run was fucking great. He was the first one to have Wolverine be like Wolverine from movies. He leaves the X-Men to not wearing the costume anymore, just fucking going around as basically a Hugh Jackman Wolverine. That run gets ignored, and then this one's always the fucking one gets recommended to newcomers like fucking Ryan. And knowing this is the shit that gets recommended to newcomers when there's so much fucking better shit. This gets praised so much because he's so fucking mad. I'm sorry.
But you have to remember that fan service is something that fans do like. Even
Yeah,
though,
they do. That makes me so. I think that makes me more mad of all. Is that this is what gets fucking attention by fans. Like, you get what you fucking praise, fanboys, and this is why people don't respect comics.
Sly, have you read Millar's Wolverine proper run, the Enemy of the State stuff?
A little bit. I remember it being decent. Like,
I haven't. I'm just wondering if it's any better.
That's probably why I also took this for granted, because I thought Enemy of the State was decent, and I didn't read the whole thing. So what I read, I thought it was decent. So I'm like, people can't be that like, and people talk about this more than Enemy of the State, by the way. So
Yeah, but like I feel like with Enemy of the State, because it was in continuity and not some alternate universe, it might be more reined in.
yeah, that's what I think. Like, I think it's just the editors at this point. I refuse to give him any credit. It's just the fucking editors. It's just Grant Morrison and just the editors. He either rips off a good idea and has the editors rein him in, and then that's all good ideas he ever had. Fuck him.
Yeah. If you want to read things like this, read Hulk's Future Imperfect or The End. They're way better and like same kind of ideas. Or just watch John Wick, which also rules.
Or watch Logan.
Logan. Yeah,
Yeah,
Logan's
or
really
watch
good.
Logan. I thought that was a given.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
another Edgelord August has come to an end, guys. How do
Oh,
we
it
feel?
ended too soon.
Fucking enough for me. I'm done.
I feel like because like last time we did like 4 things, I need like something to round me out at least. For,
Yeah,
a
I'm like,
third.
we just did 2, right?
You only
Yeah.
did 1.
I only did 1. This was enough for me though. I guess.
You know what? Fine, Darryl, do a solo bonus episode where you read fucking Kingsman or something.
Yeah.
Sure,
Is
you got
is
it.
Kingsman edgy?
Oh my god!
we really tried to Edgelord August because we do want to return to Wanted and have Phil and Darryl read it
Yeah.
eventually.
We'll figure something out. But anyway, I'm glad that we're all back together to be really mad.
Yeah.
Well, there was kind of just one really mad Hulk, you might say, on our team.
So, if you guys enjoyed our journey through Edgelord August, you should rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or other places. We got a new review that's really nice. I'm going to read it.
Thank you, whoever
Guys are
that
ready.
is.
It's from RJ47890.
Cool.
And he said, as a podcaster myself, I cannot recommend this program enough. These gentlemen curse like sailors, but still come off as endearing and friendly. They know their comics, and they are not afraid to be swayed from their opinions if the argument is good. And they love freedom. Yeah, that's the ticket.
We do. We do not want to live under Nazi Red Skull.
I do
America.
love freedom.
So, if you also love freedom, listen to our political podcast. We did an episode on Nazis in the streets, now that there is a Nazi in the White House. And that's Oops, I Talk Politics. You can find that and this and all our other episodes at franzradio.com.
franzradio.com.
Yeah. And I also want to do a quick plug to the Comrade Radio Network. Classic Schmassic just finished their Summer of 70s, and it might be their last episode ever.
Oh.
I really hope
yeah.
it's not. So everyone listen to that, and all of our listeners should join the Classic Schmassic Facebook group and tell Chris and Owen that you love it so much. So
Petition
please,
your government. Petition your podcasters.
Call
Yes.
your representative and call your local podcaster.
Did you hear about Classic Schmassic?
And that and all the other shows can be found at comraderadio.com. Anybody else have anything else they want to add?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't eat kids.
Don't eat Wolverine.
Don't eat Wolverine. More of the story. So, thank you all for listening. I've been editors and Grant Morrison absent from this book.
I've been a dinosaur covered in big black goop.
I've been Redneck Hulk.
And I've been Dr. Doom doing nothing.
Stay in continuity.